Hello, welcome to the stream. It's me, Wordy Girl. I'm finally here, and yes, I'm only about 9 minutes late this time, which is bad, but it's better than I've been being, I think, personally. But anyways, welcome to the stream. Some of you guys are about to be in an ad. If you are in an ad, exclamation point ads to let me know, exclamation point back to let me know that you are back. I'm about to, what was I about to do? I was about to, oh yes, of course, turn on the clicky sounds. Alright, so we are planning on doing some writing sprints and stuff like that today. We'll see if that happens. Some of you guys are about to be in an ad, but if you are in an ad, exclamation point ads to let me know, exclamation point back to let me know that you are back. I see fanfictioneer. A guy is here all the time. Thank you so much for stopping by. Drops on by with a short little hi before he trips, stumbles, flips, fumbles down cushioned stairs and face palms the lurk and boop buttons. Well, I don't know if I have a boop button, but thank you so much for lurking, fanfictioneer guy. God bless, much success, sending prayers, love, and hugs your way always. Thank you for stopping by, and I always appreciate and enjoy those fun little introductions you do in the chat. Now, if you are in an ad, it's okay. Whoa, I have my ramen here. We are gonna, oh, SS Mariachi is here. Hello. Welcome to the stream. SS Mariachi was just streaming. So I will, of course, shout out SS Mariachi. I don't know if you are still streaming. There you go. Here's a shout out. Please, guys, will follow SS Mariachi. I just finished ads and now more ads. Oh no. I'm so sorry. While the ads are going, though, we're gonna, same ones I just watched. Oh my goodness, horrible. We're gonna get the clock up on the screen right now. Hopefully to get some good, to get some good head starts in the sprint. I'm going to go to the Cinder track in my Discord server if you would like to join. Feel free to click the link that Handsome Chaos has put into the chat. Welcome back to the stream. So sorry you had to watch a duplicate repeat of the ad you just watched. To help that, how about you get a little cute little disco ball spin for you. Sorry about that. Thank you for enduring ads. I was asking how are you and if you're still streaming. Are you lurking while you're still streaming, or are you I don't know, what happened to this? Taking a break from streaming because of lost progress. Oh no. Just as I was starting my stream, I did hear that you said your computer froze up or something. That's so annoying. Yeah, it's so annoying. So sorry to hear that. Sending love and hugs. Because sometimes when I'm doing something, if the computer is streaming, a lot of times the stream will actually make things lag more. So sometimes your laptop just went blank, all the lights went out, but on your phone it was still live. Oh no. So like the whole stream went blank and then your phone, you still saw it on there. That's so annoying. And I still heard your voice, which was very weird. So I don't know. Sometimes computers are very weird. Hopefully if you give it a rest just for a moment, it will probably fix itself. Hopefully. Sometimes I just restart my computer or just turn it off and just unplug everything and leave it off for like a few minutes. And hopefully that helps, because sometimes computers just get tired, like humans. Alright, so let's get some music. The stream was showing everything, but on my end the screen was black for a bit. The keyboard backlight turned off, the power button wasn't lit or responding. Yeah, sometimes that kind of thing happens to me too. And it's like when you press the key, it's like nothing's happening, but you could just tell something's on. So did you hold down the power button to get it to force turn off? Sometimes I do that, and it's very annoying to have to do that, but sometimes you have to do that just so that it can just totally go off. There were a couple of times when my computer, my laptop, it wasn't my current laptop, but one of my older laptops, they had this very annoying glitch where suddenly it would happen several times, but like when you least expect it. It's like you can tell the screen is on, but it's not because it's black, and then you hear like the fan going like it's breathing and sneezing, and like when you tap a key, it doesn't really respond, but like there's a light that's like. And when that happened to me, I literally just had to wait for the battery to drain. And every time I would just like hold down the power button to make it go off, it wouldn't work. So I would have to leave my computer just for the whole day doing that. And it's not draining fast because the screen is blank. The keyboard isn't really lighting up. So it's not really using any energy. But I had to leave it like that until the battery died, which took a long time. And that was the most annoying thing. And I was like, how do I stop it from doing this? Because every time I decided to do it was just the absolute worst time. And I would have to wait the whole day for it to die. And then plug it in again and try again. That was like, I was tired of that. I was like, and the thing is, that was like a newer laptop that I had just got, but it was after the warranty. I was like, how did this happen? Is this a known issue with these things? I am glad that I haven't had that problem anymore because I don't have that laptop anymore, but that was very annoying. I didn't like that at all. It didn't work, but it did finally respond. Okay, great. How many words is the limit for the reading thingy? Feel free to share. If your work is too lengthy, I will just read a section of it. And I might read the rest off stream. So feel free to redeem it if you like, but just give me an idea. How long are you saying? Like if it's a 50,000 word novel, like I did this through Nano. Can you read the, no, sorry. No, I can read like a chapter maybe, or a couple of paragraphs depending on how long it is, a page or two, maybe. Just, it just depends on what it is. So feel free to like tell me what you're trying to get me to read. And I should be able to read some of it at least. But yeah, no, not whole novels or anything. Of course. All right, so, what was I doing? I was about to do a sprint. I have a few options, 15K, 2300, and 1300. Okay. Well, the 1300 is the least, probably, so I would feel like that is the more bite size for stream, but it depends on what it's about and what you want me to read. The 15K is a lot, and I think that maybe you would just share it, and I could read a section of it, and when I feel like, okay, this is going on for quite some time, I guess I will just go ahead and stop reading now. But yes, we also do suggest that it's family friendly, so feel free to put the link or whatever, but I will glance over it. I might skim through it, and I might be like, So feel free to also tell me what these things are about. So depending on what they're about, I might choose one over the other. It doesn't matter what, how many words. The subject matter might be more of a determining factor. I was about to do sprints. Let's see. What else was I about to do? I feel like I didn't. probably have you read the 2,000 word apocalypse story or the 23,000 word apocalypse story. I mean, 22,000 word or 2,300 or 2,300. Apocalypse story, yes. Interesting. So since they're all apocalypse stories, I guess it doesn't matter which one you would like me to read. Yeah, feel free to share whichever one you like. And the redeem is wordy read my work, please, which is, let me see. Which one is that? Oh, it's 1,000? Okay. I'm gonna lower the price. I feel like I raised the price because I was trying to write during WorldEmber. And I didn't want to get distracted by reading other people's stuff. So I have lowered the price a bit. Now. Maybe 550 is good. And then there's something else, wordy write something. I raised the price for that as well because I was tired of people trying to get me to write stuff that wasn't my WorldEmber goals. But yeah. Feel free. You could do both. Yeah, you could if you would like. I have lowered the price now. That's what I'm trying to go through some of my redeems and see if there is a redeem that I raise the price of that I need to lower the price of, or a redeem that I lowered the price of that I need to raise the price of. By it being the reading challenge, I do appreciate people who are from WorldEmber sharing their articles from WorldEmber, and then I can include them in my reading challenge. SS Mariachi is not sharing a WorldEmber article, which is fine. We are sharing a Google Doc instead. It does not have to be a WorldEmber article. It is just encouraged if you are from WorldEmber, because they're doing a reading challenge this time. And since the reading challenge is going on, then it's a perfect time to get me to read stuff. Need to get back into WorldEmber, just overwhelmed by the amount I need to write and transfer over. Yeah, that's understandable. No worries at all. Okay. Let's see. This is, quote, another generic apocalypse transfer. All right, thank you to SS Mariachi for, aka Moon Moon, for sharing the story. I need to change this to viewing mode so I can just read without having to worry about accidentally editing something or making a note that I didn't mean to make. Alright. Another generic apocalypse transfer. 2016 American Midwest. 8:45 a.m. It is a transfer because it was originally typed on a Smith Corona Galaxy 2. Interesting. Okay. Main microphone muted. Paper rustles. Silence for a bit. A cork pops. Voice of Harry. We had fun, right, John? Voice of John. We did. We did indeed. Soon all our
Precisely.
Thank you so much, AJ, for joining. Welcome to the stream. We did. We did indeed. Soon all our problems will be over, Harry. Background noises. Record being set up. Main microphone muted. Voice of Harry. Our next song is a top 40 hit that you all have been requesting. A jazzy pop song begins playing as distant explosions can be heard. Main microphone muted. Voice of John. It was nice being your colleague and friend. I enjoyed your company. Voice of Harry. We die like gentlemen. Voice of John. Your tie is crooked. Let me fix that. There was an explosion, and the tape abruptly ended. As Dave looked at the faded paper he had found on their desk, he thought about the men who had run this broadcast all those years ago. The paper was a fax from a civil defense addressed to all radio stations that the nukes were flying and that it was your duty to alert listeners. Dave continued through the building, stepping over debris in the hallway. He passed several surprisingly not decomposed bodies as he continued to explore. He took nothing, just looked around. Once done, he stepped outside. As Dave breathed in the fresh air, he finally decided on a goal, a purpose in his new life. Dave drove his electric car to the hardware store, entered and picked out a respirator and some work gloves. He then left the correct amount on the counter before getting in his car and driving to the cemetery. Once there, Dave got to work filling out some paperwork. After that, he converted the hearse to be electric before loading it with a casket, some tools, and a cart. Then he drove back to the radio station and parked. The sun was getting low in the horizon now, since it had taken hours to convert it. As he wheeled the casket inside, he found a body, grabbed their wallet, took the money inside, and then logged their name and other information. He finally loaded them into the hearse and drove them to the mortuary. The fridges were down and had been for ages, but they probably wouldn't mind. He marked the casket, filled out the paperwork, and repeated the process for the rest of the day. He realized he would have to go buy more coffins or caskets from a local funeral home soon. He switched to his personal car, drove home, and turned on his radio as he listened to his cassette player. June 1st, 2018, 6 o'clock a.m. Dave awoke to his alarm clock beeping. He got up, got dressed, and made some breakfast. It was mostly canned or homegrown. Once the time hit 7 o'clock, he grabbed his keys and unplugged his car. As he drove to the funeral home, he stopped by the library. The sign, though faded, said 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. He checked his watch. 7:30. He sighed and finished his drive to work. Once there, he put on his respirator, his gloves, and his ID. He didn't technically work there, but he had visitor's ID from his dad. He went inside and began checking his paperwork from the day prior. He had helped his father here numerous times before, so he went down the list in alphabetical order and prepared the corpses for burial. Once he was done, he pulled out his typewriter before carrying it to his desk, removing his mask and gloves, and finally loading papers in. He typed a note, then stood and taped the note to the office door, running to library and clerk's office. Be back later. That note was for no one. He drove back to the library, stopping at every out traffic light and obeying the posted speed limits. He passed several crashed and abandoned cars, which he ignored. As he parked neatly at the damaged library, he checked the time. 12:03. He opened the front door and wandered in the building. Using the old card catalog, he located a book on military funerals and headed up front. Dave grabbed the date stamp, found a usable ink pad, and set it for June 15th, and checked out the book before heading back to the car and driving to City Hall. Since they were technically open for the day, he stepped inside, passing several bodies as he walked to the archives. Once there, he pulled a small flashlight out and began pulling information on the people he was giving funerals to. After a few hours, he finally finished pulling files, then returned to the office, removed his sign, and began typing the eulogies. At 4 o'clock, he finished his first paper, then wrote up a small stack of flyers. Since the power was out and he didn't own a mimeograph, he had to write the flyers manually. He made a note to get a generator online. Finally, 5:30 hit and he stood up before heading out. On his way home, he stapled his flyers to several poles. They were just requests for people to attend the funeral. He knew no one would attend due to it being the apocalypse. Stop here. Scene conclusion, bit over. Okay. That's a good place to stop, I would think. Thank you for sharing that. It is a very interesting story, and it does make me very curious about the world. It is a duplicating machine which produces copies from a stencil, now superseded by the photocopier. Yes, mimeograph, I would think it was pronounced mimeograph because the etymology made me think mime, like duplicate, mimic. So, yeah, that makes total sense. I didn't know how to pronounce it, but thank you for sharing the definition. I do have some questions about that world because that's very interesting. It seems like this is a guy who is so by the books and so routine that even when it's the apocalypse, he thinks it's his duty to make sure all these people get proper burials, proper funerals. He's also obeying all the posted speed limits. He's stopping at traffic lights even though the power's out. He is waiting until it is time to go in the library during the office hours to actually visit these places. He's still acting very much like the world is normal, even though it's not normal. Is this something that he's doing to cope? Or is this just the kind of person he is? Also, I'm very curious, why is he the only one who's still alive? It was not clear what happened to everybody, but it was clear that everybody kind of died. So this does make me very interested in this world. It's very intriguing to read this story. And it gives a lot of questions about the world and the character. Both to cope and the fact that who he is. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. Also, by it saying that the bodies were surprisingly not decomposed, is that because of something, the reason why they died? Is there a weird thing going on here? Also, I made a note that he said he was going to try to buy a generator online. Is this like a futuristic world where if you buy a generator online, it will like be delivered to you by drones? Or is he just gonna order a generator online and nothing will happen? Because I don't know how he could order one online. Or is he ordering it from a different place and like only his town is affected by the apocalypse? And if it is, why is this guy still in town? Is he not wanting to leave? Fanfictionaire guy waves as they come back from putting their pet quacks to bed. Hi, Wordy. Welcome to the stream, Fanfic Guy. I'm so glad to see you here. I said hello earlier, and I always love those introductions you do. How are you? And how are the quacks? Colonel is here. Hello, Wordy Girl in chat. Hello, Colonel. How are you? Thank you so much for joining. Much love. Nope, he's probably just going to go into the hardware store and buy one. Okay, good. The online part was an error. Okay, good. Because I was about to say, whoa, that gave me a lot of questions. Like, how is he able to still order stuff online? But it makes sense. Like, when he got something from the store, he still put the proper amount of money on the counter, which is very interesting. That is a very interesting story and a very interesting character you have there. Thank you for sharing that. Fanfic guy says, I'm good. We have Poorly Duck, who is getting better. Aw, sending hugs. He's walking like he's got a really hurt leg, but his balance is getting better. Okay. I hope the duck feels better soon. Sending love and hugs and prayers to you all. Colonel says, Wordy Girl dressed as sports girl today. Yeah. I have my little tracksuit on in the colors of winter. I think I'll share the other one now, apocalypse story or sci-fi. Doesn't matter which one you would like, doesn't matter. Feel free to share whichever one you would like. Let's see. Hey Wordy, I finally finished chapter 6 of my second volume to my high fantasy series. Oh, congratulations! Awesome progress. No, it froze when you started reading out my message. Oh no, am I back? Okay, good. I said congratulations on progress. Much love. Congratulations, yeah. Finishing chapter 6 of your second volume. Awesome. Sounds amazing. I hope everything's going well there. And congrats on what you were able to accomplish. This aged a little like milk, be aware. Oh no. Okay. Just gonna, skim. Okay. Interesting. Kofi Streambot is in the chat also to let you know that if you do donate while I'm live, fun things can happen. Also, I've been meaning to get my toast menu together. And I shall do so soon. But we're reading stories first, I guess. Wisconsin Mystery. This is another one by SS Mariachi, aka Moon Moon, January 3rd, 1980. Fanfic wants to know, would you be able to read it out on stream? This is the solo chapter, so you don't have to scroll through 180 plus pages. Okay, I might be able to read some of it. If it's 180 plus pages, that's what I was talking about with Moon Moon earlier. I'm probably not going to read the whole thing, but I can read a section of it. Okay, Wisconsin Mystery, January 3rd, 1980. My name? What do people call me? I go by many names and titles. Just call me Dale. I will tell you about a funeral. This is the obituary for a person who I know hasn't died, at least not yet. Gregory Long was a resident of the small town of Eland, Wisconsin, and a grandfather to Madeline Wolfe and Peter Long. He was also a father to Billy Wald and a loving husband to Josephine. He regularly attended Zion Lutheran Church, always willing to help out folks in need, even if he had a little to give. Unfortunately, his time was cut short when his car crashed into an icy lake during the Great Blizzard of '79. When the world needed a hero, he spent his last moments helping those in need. Several people were crying then. A lady stood up and walked to the front of the room. "Hello, I am Josephine. I am, or was, Gregory Long's wife. I just wanted to say how amazing he was." She was sobbing now. Without another word, she went back to her seat. After the service, someone entered the hall. It was a uniformed cop. "Can I speak to the family members, please?" The family filed into a separate room. Uncle Sven complained about how they were grieving. "We need some information about him because you're going to want to see the pictures. We found something." 46 years later, a command tent in a frozen wasteland. The captain coughed and announced weakly, "Roll call." The platoon of the 17 remaining men lined up in the biting cold. The temperature was 10 degrees Fahrenheit and plummeting. Snow was falling. Their radios had stopped working a few hours ago. Little did they know, no one was going to be looking for them. The platoon was in a secluded spot awaiting rescue. I had already taken their superior officers with me. Time unknown. When Gregory Long came to his senses, he realized that he was weightless. His stuff was floating. This included a jacket, a coffee mug, a few empty fast food bags, and a framed photo of his wife. He looked outside and noticed the ground was rushing towards him. "The heck?" was all he had time to say. The car hit the ground and he blacked out. The vehicle, a 1971 Chrysler New Yorker, did not have airbags. Somehow he survived due to some magic tomfoolery. When he awoke, an approximately 5-foot-tall wolf was looking at him eye to eye. The wolf noticed the signs of life and perked up. Its horizontal tail started to wag. The wolf grabbed the edge of the door with a few huge claws and ripped it open. It licked his face and made sure he got out of the car all right. "Good girl," the wolf whined in indignation. "Good boy?" The wolf seemed content with that. Good boy it is then. Do you know what happened? Last thing I remember is that I was about to crash into a lake. The wolf chuffed. Right. Well, he looked himself over and noticed he wasn't visibly injured. I guess you're my new friend as I try to figure this mess out. Want to join me? The wolf gave a quick nod and licked his face. Down, boy. The wolf obediently sat. You are very well trained, also big and friendly and extremely intelligent. Now let's see here. It looks like you guys are about to be in an ad soon, so I will pause. SS Mariachi says it happened again. My laptop just black screened, but you're back now. Well, welcome back. I'm so sorry about the laptop black streaming. We are gonna pause for a second because some of you guys are about to be in an ad. So, I'm gonna take this time to eat some of my cold ramen. And when you guys are back, let me know. Fanfic says it doesn't get the adverts and watches Wordy dance away quietly. Well, that works too. Alright, it says the ads are over now. Welcome back, everybody. How is the ramen? It was pretty okay. It has not gotten too cold, thankfully. And welcome back. Yes, I knew that there were going to be ads. And now they're over. So, we're going to go back into here. You are backing up your computer. Much success with that, because it is so annoying to not have backups. Hey, Wordy, did I ever tell you about the new book project I've been thinking about? Is it new? Because if you told me about it, it was probably a long time ago. I remember a thing you posted in the server. I don't think that's new anymore. Let's see. He looked around and began to take in his surroundings. He knew he was in a park in some sort of rundown neighborhood, but not where this was. He noted that his car was twisted and bent, a door was broken open, and he could smell gas. He knew it would be of no use now. Do you know where we are? The wolf looked up for a minute, then gave a slight shake of his head. Oh well. I guess we'll start walking. Maybe we'll figure out where we are. The wolf spun in a few circles before stopping, facing a random direction that only I can tell you was north. It began walking before turning to face Gregory. Seems as good a direction as any. Let me make sure I don't need anything in here. Then you can lead the way. The wolf waited patiently nearby as he rummaged through his car. A few minutes later, he came back with his winter coat, a duffel bag full of junk, and a first aid kit. His reading glasses, the picture of his wife, and several blankets. He dumped out the bag and stuffed his gear inside. Gregory rejoined the wolf, and together they walked north. They crossed under a freeway and then across a river. They continued following the road. There was still no one in sight. Finally, they passed an abandoned newspaper stand on a side street. Hold on, I want to check this out. The wolf came closer and sat, patiently waiting for him to finish. He grabbed a newspaper off the rack and looked at it. This will be super helpful. I should have the date this was written, where we are, and even some other things. He scanned the paper and started. This can't be right. The date here says Sunday, June 9th, 2024. As for our location, this is from the Chicago Tribune, so we're probably in Chicago. He looked at the headline for a few moments. Humanity's future bleak. Not many remain. That's not a good sign. What on earth is happening to me? I have to be dreaming, he said. He turned to the wolf, still waiting by his side. Based on the fact that I can think the thought that I might be dreaming and didn't wake up means this is real. Is anyone here still alive? All right. I think that's pretty much of it enough to read from that. But that's very interesting as well. So that's funny also that he thinks that if he can think, is this a dream, and he didn't wake up, that means that it's real. That's hilarious because honestly, I can think something is a dream. Maybe this is just me. But when I am dreaming, I'm like, this is a dream. I have to wake up. I have to wake up. I have to wake up. Sometimes it's hard for me to wake up, and I can't wake up, which is just funny. Maybe that's just me. I feel like I know things are a dream when I'm dreaming them, and then when I wake up, I'm like, okay, I'm out of there. Especially if the dream is kind of weird and I want to get out of it. If the dream is okay and I don't mind being in it, I can still know it's a dream and just not wake up yet. There are also some times where I don't think it's a dream until I wake up and I'm like, how did I think that was real? That was horrible. That can't happen. So my dreams are very weird and varied and different. But if that's how it happens with you, that's very interesting. That's something to learn about everybody being different and about the story. A very interesting thing. SS Mariachi, aka Moon says, if I think the thought is a dream, I 99% of the time wake. Okay, interesting. That's funny. If that happened to me, I would wake up very quickly in a lot of my dreams. But I guess I'm just different. Yeah, alright, great. Fanfic, are you still here? Because I can read a little bit of yours now. Thank you for sharing. Moon, I do have some questions about yours as well. That was very interesting. It said Wisconsin, and somehow he ended up in Chicago. And there was a random wolf. He was totally fine with the wolf. That's very interesting. I noticed that one of his family members' last name was Wolf. So maybe that has something to do with it. Was that wolf a familiar wolf that I know of, or was that just a random wolf? Because the way the wolf was behaving was very interesting. Your cat has lost her marbles. Oh no. What is your cat doing? Fanfic says, it's only the V2C6. I copied the original trilogy first draft and left only the chapter mentioned. Okay. So it is not something that I have to scroll 160 pages through. Alright, so great. Thank you to Fanfic for sharing this. I'm gonna go to viewing again, so I don't accidentally edit. A lot of the questions are explained in some form later. Okay, I can check it out later. Thank you so much for sharing. I became a superhuman in another world. IBASAIW, which I feel like whenever you shorten it to that, I forget what it stands for, and it's just easier for me to say I became a superhuman or something, but that's funny. Oh, it's Ibashaw? Ibashaw. Okay, I never knew that it was like pronounced as a word. I honestly was like IBASAI, and I was like, that's just more complicated than just saying I became. Like, I would rather cut it to like I became a superhuman or something than to say all those letters. Thank you for telling me how to pronounce that, because that's hilarious. Alright. Alrighty. Dedications, thank you. Alright, Volume 2, C26, Suspensions and Expectations. After that class for writing and learning the basic skills for learning the common and less common, Riki, is it Riki? Reiki? Reiki? Riki. Please let me know how to pronounce the name. Reiki. But I was right. Alright, Mariachi says also the concept of that story is Gregory is transported into the future where he spends years there. When he dies, his body is taken back to when he cracked. Oh my goodness, that's very interesting and intriguing lore. So it's like he experienced the whole thing within those seconds. But everybody just thinks he was just instantly died. Alright, interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Alright. Reiki. Alright. Reiki could finally get some space to himself. He did have a brief interview from the scholar who ran it, who was thrilled to have somebody who was willing to learn in their class. However, the student at the back of the class made a rather loud scoffing as they glared at him. Due to his lack of magic, the young speedster had to carry the papers he had on him. Several other students had magic bags that their personal items and study notes all blended into, like they were being sucked into a vacuum while shrinking at the same time. The cacophony of whooshes that echoed in the room from the various students was a little loud, but oddly enough, it didn't hurt his ears as he watched the spectacle. However, his focus was interrupted when the staring one barged past him, knocking his arm enough that he should have dropped his notes. Due to his unique abilities, in the blink of an eye, the notes were back in his hands. This went by unnoticed by the staring Beastal. Is it Beastal? 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 Who turned around after passing him and thought that the nudge hadn't been enough. "Ch, you're lousy for being late," he said, his earlier bravado earning a nasal chuckling from a lean teenage wolf, Beastal, and a guttural chuckle from a rather muscular, sleeveless demon. "And you don't have a void bag for your things either. You're utterly useless." That got more of a snigger from those who, beside him, were too different to the two he was with earlier. The demon's dark gray horns contrasted against his cold blue skin and golden amber eyes that shone like a torch in any lighting condition. In contrast, the beastal had a few very dark patches of cold gray fur on his ears until, however, what caught Reiki's attention was their face. It was almost like a hybridization of a human face with a wolf's head, but without the fur. Ugh. What a butt, he thought to himself, as the rude beastal guy, probably a bully, snickered with a wide grin. With a huff of air that he was holding, Reiki just ignored him and picked his new notes up and held them in his hands. He had been used to this type of behavior once before, not in this world though, his previous one. He had been the center of a... Oi! Lanika, he called out. I don't know if that's how you say it. Smirking as he got the speedster's attention. However, he wasn't used to seeing such a pure reaction of brows furrowed and a tilted head from rather dubious, dumbstruck expression. The young speedster didn't look directly at the guy, but he did seem to think that it was some kind of insult. For some reason or another, the young speedster felt a bit rebellious, throwing caution to the wind as he spoke back at the rude beastal who looked like he was trying to ruin his day. It didn't feel like him, but it felt like he was much calmer and much more controlled than what happened many times back in his previous world. I don't know what you just said, but I'm assuming that you were insulting me? He asked, using his lack of lingual knowledge, which got the beastal to raise his hackles and expose his sharp teeth. His nonchalant attitude and his exterior posture was betrayed by his internal screaming in his mind. What on earth am I doing, continuing this type of discussion, he thought, with the subtle twitch he felt of his right eyebrow, which went unnoticed by all but him. That's it. You, me, battle arena. You have an hour. He let a long blow of air through gritted teeth after he spoke before adding insolent twerp under his breath and turned around and left the room. Reiki was at a loss for words. He didn't want to fight, plus he didn't know if this was an allowed rule or not. The moment he realized it was the same guy from earlier irked him, so he reached out with his telepathy to find Sapphire's mind. Once he found her, he did his best to nudge her with a mental ping, but ended up in an immediate connection regardless. Hey Sapphire, don't jump, it's me, he projected, when she had in fact jumped from the mental ping and intrusion into her mind. Got a second? He added, as he could sense her apology to her scholar for her outburst, then her answering the question with a correct feeling response, while he's exiting the room just behind the last student and walking through the hallway. Hey, you almost got me at a bad time. What's up? She replied, doing her best to keep her expression from matching her internal mental self. So you know that guy from earlier? The one you hid behind me from? He projected his reply while dodging a few other students, some walking together while others practiced low-tier spells that looked harmless. Oh, him? Yeah, she thought in an instant, as he sensed her face and gaze soften. Well, I don't know if you want to follow up, but he kinda asked me... Whoa! His telepathy was cut off in an instant when he bumped into the pig-tailed girl from earlier, knocking both of them to their butts on the floor. You okay? He asked, getting up with a bit of speed, then offering her a hand. That wasn't very... Oh, it's you. Thanks, she replied as she moved onto her knees and accepted his gesture after she noticed who he was. You're that new kid from earlier, right? She asked as she felt a strong mental ping for his attention. Yeah, I was a bit lost in my thoughts, he fibbed. But it wasn't a total lie, though. Sorry about that, he added, before sending Sapphire a quick projected message to check in later, hoping to explain it in person. After his apology, she seemed to sense a more innocent mind before her, so she told him something to calm his nerves. Her full name was off the books, but she preferred that he used her socially given nickname, Tiff. Reiki was glad he didn't have much in the way of his next class, which was the following day, so he got her to help guide him to where they had their on-site sparring arenas. For the thank you, he watched as some other magic students throwing basically a magical haymakers at each other. A strange horn-like whistle echoed with a gentle thrum around the large space, as if signaling it was the end of a session. He sat on a lower row of seats before his boredom got the better of him. He wandered down to the arena as a group of mischievous and curious students watched him from one of the open ends of the arena. I wonder what this place is like when you're not in an entrance exam, he thought, not bothering to use his speed to look around the large, almost circular space. The floor of this arena possessed an oval-shaped configuration, containing a diminutive but elevated stone platform surrounded by enigmatic markings that he was unable to discern. They weren't translating, so he deduced that they must be a decorative design choice. His eyes started to roam between the stands before the guy from earlier stepped out from between them. While roaming the arena, seeing the oval play zone and the almost 2-meter-tall walls surrounding it, he almost missed seeing the guy until he did a double take. "Hey, you!" the guy yelled at him as he used an invisible spell to soften his jump into the arena, with some dust kicking up around his feet. That must have been a wind spell. Upon his opponent's approach into the arena, the superpowered teenager did a surface scan of his mind, discovering the guy wanted to battle him. He hoped that there was a staff member around to speak to. Bad timing on his behalf, as the guy began to attach some strange bracelets to his wrists. The bracelets, from Reiki's perspective, looked like a pompous way of showing his ego. However, "Nobody's around to stop us." The guy cracked his neck, and his cocky grin widened as the round jewel on each bracelet began glowing. "Let's see if you're as strong as you think you are. No need to be so protecting of that beastle," he added, as a soft shring echoed in the chamber. If he didn't already know what was going through this guy's head, he did now. He didn't want to expose any other secrets about his ability set, yet he felt like this series of events might affect his time at the academy. "I wish I could just..." His thoughts was interrupted, his super speed ability snapping to full as he ducked and sidestepped. He turned his body as he fell in relative real time, gritting his teeth and widening his eyes. A thin yet long blade of ice had just shot past his cheek. It hadn't grazed him, but it still did send a chill down his back. He focused on keeping his speed active when he landed on his back on the hard floor of the arena. His gaze snapped to the guy, who appeared to be frozen in time. He then noticed the other bracelets glow with a slow increase of brightness, as particles in chunks of the ground seemed to float up and spiral around his ever-opening hand. A hand that he felt was aiming directly at him. "Is this guy for real?" he said loud, as he got up to his knees before performing a last-minute zip to the back of the arena floor. "Seriously, is he that obsessed with Sapphire?" he added in an afterthought, noticing an electric aura on the side of his vision. 3 thin needles made from the collecting dust had shot where he had just been kneeling. The thought of getting Sapphire's attention came to mind, but he was stuck at the mercy of several ice and earth needles diverging his attention. He was forced into a defensive play against the barrage of these thin needles. How many spells does this guy actually know? Is it literally just long, thin elemental needles? He thought as he started to move from his fear of the needles to analyzing his opponent's attack pattern. With a hum of curiosity, Reiki watched as around 10 ice needles came his way. Before he slowed down to watch the guy swap hands and fire the earth projectiles, he guessed it was roughly 10. But the thumps into the arena floor and walls from each barrage sounded like he was firing more than that. Way more than 10. That was when he noticed the guy wasn't fully aiming for him. This one-sided fight felt like it was taking hours for the young speedster, yet the guy hadn't spent all that long firing them. To the aggressive Mel, it felt like he had carried on using his artifacts for a good few moments, draining away the stored elemental magic spells stored within. He felt his movement slowing, with the use of his mana decreasing alongside the reduction in projectiles fired. As the barrage continued, the needles in the floor started to take on a small pattern. He knew the guy was cocky, but he wasn't someone to endanger his life. That earlier mind scan told him the guy just wanted to mess with him. That's when he was about to pull a trump card. Coming back to real time, when he noticed the guy had heavy breathing. The jewels that were glowing earlier were now devoid of any light. How are you avoiding all of these? The guy said, between deep gulps of air, as his now redder, shinier forehead was covered in beads of sweat. Nobody's been able to dodge all of them before, he added before being interrupted by a dominating feminine voice. Stop this at once! The barrage of spells that he was expecting never came. Reiki finally got a breather and collapsed to his knees and hands. He looked up and saw the guy who had been firing at him, now firing a very distasteful look. I think that's quite enough for now. Thank you so much for sharing. That was a very interesting chapter. Let me catch up on the chat because I see a lot has been going on. SS Mariachi, aka Moon Moon, says, also the concept of that story is Gregory transported to the future where he spends years there. When he dies, his body is taken back to when he crashed. It confuses them because they find his body 20 years older and wearing summer clothes from a water park. The shirt says 2024 summer season in old faded letters. Oh wow, that is even more intriguing. Also, Moon Moon asks, do wolves die? To the fanfictioneer guy. Fanfic guy says, this is high fantasy. The wolf adjacents die. Double checking, are you asking about my work? Yes. Oh, Leninica is the thing that the bully yelled at the protagonist. I see. Thank you for explaining how to pronounce that. Moon Moon asks, just want to make sure no wolf-adjacent creatures die. Fanfic says, if you are referring to beastals, they are like humanoids with animal attributes. Ears, tails are most common. Rarer features are patches of fur, more animals like faces, or even hybridized legs and arms, and die like any other race. If you're referring to creatures, then they just die naturally. Do any beastals in this excerpt get hurt or die? Nope. It's a slice of life series and currently it's on a magic academy, says fanfic guy. That is your biggest trigger. Wolf or wolf-like creatures get hurt. Interesting. Okay. Lots of... Oh, is it like, it was a lot of alliteration going on. Okay, I can tell this is the first draft. We'll need a better approach to this battle sequence, says fanfic guy. There's a really cool part at the end where it swaps scene entirely. Very interesting. Comfy Streambot is in the chat. Also to remind you that if you donate while I'm live, fun things can happen. Fanfic guy says, I'm not sure how much I can avoid that in chapters 8 or 9, but I'll do my best to show that wolf beastals are only hurt and not killed off. Yes, interesting. So, thank you guys for sharing your work. Let's see, are we going to be able to do any sprints? All right. Would I be able to take a peek at the end part of the work without reading aloud? I mean, I could try to read it when I am not on stream. But if you want me to skip to a certain part, can you please tell me what part you want me to show? All the way at the end? What, notes? What part? Because it seems like a lot of end. Where the diamonds are. That's still quite a bit. Several streets were bustling with activity. The port town in just an hour earlier had been quiet and sparse place, almost like a ghost town with the occasional roaming guard. Several elemental and normal-looking corvids and a few beautifully singing birds flew around. The latter with the common name of Ispril, I don't know if that's correct, and several small kitten-sized cats with stubby horns. These small horned cat-like animals are known as Nykoa, which are often easy to tame. 2 even had a pair of wings that allowed them to glide between the rooftops. These small creatures mingled around the various races that hung around in the town square. The midday sun was warm, mixed with a hint of anticipation that encompassed the growing market within the town square. The voices from the most common language, Ingali, drifted from the white noise ambience of the crowd. "Hey, did you hear?" One motion spoke up, a demon with a pale ruby skin and a single half-curled horn, chatting to his neighboring stall owner. "Yeah, I think I heard it right," the human man said through his teeth that held some nails, obtaining a hammer handed to him from a teenage Catman beastle. "Bandits are stepping it up again. We gotta..." He began hammering the nails into a board for his stall. "Keep an eye on the market." He patted the teenager's head once he was done, who gave a slight twitch and raise of his shoulders at the gesture. "Agreed," his other stall neighbor replied, a blonde elf woman who had put out a basket of fresh green apples of what appeared to look like crimson-colored lemons. "We should also keep an eye on the young ones who volunteered to help us." She patted the head of a girl by her side, clinging to her knee-length dress, her daughter. Very interesting here. Also, you guys are about to be in an ad, so exclamation point ads to let me know, exclamation point back to let me know you are back. I am about to meet again and eat some more of my ramen. Alright, it says you guys should be back. Fanfic says I'm back. Welcome back. Fanfic also asks Nykoa and Espiral. Espiral? I don't know. But thank you for the pronunciations. Last one was correct. Espiral? I keep saying it too fast. Espiral. Espiral. Okay, got it. Alrighty. So, you said, do you like how it feels fresh compared to the earlier section you read? I mean, I don't know. I guess it probably feels fresh to you because it may have been written later. And you feel like you can see where your writing style has changed. I feel like it's very similar writing to me because all of it is new to me. And I did not read very much of your work. I have read it sometimes when you ask for feedback and provide these snippets for us to read on streams. But I can sense your very... I can sense your writing style. Let's just say that. I can tell your writing style and the beginning of it didn't seem very different in writing style, personally, to me, than the end. The only thing that was different was the fact that there was more dialogue, but it was still in the little alligator brackets, so that seemed like they were telepathically speaking to each other, were they? So it didn't seem very different, in my opinion, personally, to the rest of it. But, yeah. So that's just my personal opinion. That doesn't mean anything good. That doesn't mean anything bad. That just means that when you're asking me the question, does it feel fresh and more interesting? Personally, it feels the same to me. Okay, the alligator text is auto-translated for the author from the character's perspective. The regular brackets is telepathy. Oh, okay. That's very weird. Author-reader. So, yeah, so that is something that also I'm like, I get it now, kind of. But it does make it seem like a lot of, so what you're trying to say is these people are speaking in a language that the author and reader don't know, but it has been translated so that you can understand it as you are reading it, or the author of the story can understand. I mean, the author of the story is letting you, the reader, understand what they are saying, even though you really wouldn't be able to understand it. Okay, so I have, different people do it in different ways. And I know some people who put the actual language that is being spoken in their work. And then they either just expect you to look it up, or they say, he said adios, which means goodbye. Or something like that. Personally, I would rather not do that. Sometimes in my work, I put what they say, like translation word for word of the language, especially if it is a conlang as well. It's, I think, Ingali or whatever was a conlang. So it was telling you when we started the scene that voices could be heard speaking Ingali or whatever it is, which is probably a conlang. Personally, I just say, like, so-and-so, he said in Ingali. Like, instead of, unless it's necessary or it seems like it has a lot of flavor to tell a word that they said. And I try to keep that to a minimum, because sometimes when it's like overwhelming the reader with words that they have no idea what these mean, be it a real world language or a conlang, if there's full dialogue conversations happening in this language, the reader's probably just gonna feel like, so either I just say two men were speaking in German. Have you got the package? Yes, said the other one. Like, I just told you they're speaking in German. So yeah, I'm telling you what they're saying in English, but the words told you that they're speaking in German. If it's from the perspective of a person who can't understand German, then I might say, listening around the corner, so-and-so, the person listening heard. And the reason why it's okay to not even translate what that means is because we are from the perspective of the person who doesn't know what that means. Therefore, if you know what it means, good. If you don't know what it means, it's okay, because the person who we are following also doesn't know what it means. If we want you to know, we can say, he heard people yelling in German, but he didn't know what they were saying. And if I want to tell what they were saying, I tell the reader what they were saying. But that's just me. Everybody does languages differently in their works. I've seen a lot of people do it in a lot of different ways, but I just personally, do it in a different way. Fanfic says the languages are conlangs in this world because they come from each of the races, like demons speak Damik. The common tongue of the Empire is Ingali. From Reiki's perspective, it's basically English. I figured so. With a name like Ingali, I figured. Beastles have a native language of Rampani, etc. Sorry if I mispronounce these names. But yes, it's great to have conlangs. I just personally think that in my work, instead of indicating that it is translated by putting them in little brackets, I just use the text to tell what they said and that they were speaking in another language. Yeah, understandable. And it's good to have conlangs. It is. Sometimes I have conlangs as well. And I don't like to write whole books in conlang because readers will be very... Okay, so the conlang is a double-edged sword. In a way, having a conlang makes you feel like you're immersed in the story, and it makes it feel like this world is real because it has real languages. The other side of this is it's taking you out of the story because you have no idea, absolutely no idea what's going on because you don't know this conlang. So there is a balance between adding a little bit of it as a flavor text to make it seem like, oh, this is nice. It's a big, expansive world, without making it like I am just a frustrated reader because I am just like tired of having to flip to the back of the book and translate, flip to the back. Like, I remember a lot of times in kid books when we were younger, at least with me, they would have like code words or like language words, and then when you flip to the back of the book, it has a glossary of what these words mean. That can be cool sometimes. But if it's too much, it's just gonna take the reader out of the story. So I do understand you putting it in the alligator brackets, which is fine. But that just did confuse me for a second because I thought that meant that they were communicating telepathically, which is fine because you explain that's not how it is. So if somebody reads your work a lot and they know that that's what that means, then I guess that's fine. Everybody can do it in the way that they want to do it. I have a really cute untranslated sentence in Rampani itself at the end of Volume 2's prologue, which basically translates to, I want to see your mother. I will slip in occasional terms and sentences for people to learn alongside Reiki, the lead protagonist, when he wants to learn Rampani to upgrade his translation skill. Yeah, so that's interesting. Like I said, it's interesting. Everybody has their own way of doing languages, be they conlang or real-world Earth languages. So yeah, there's no right or wrong way to do it. I just personally have my own preferences on how to do it. But yeah, my preferences are not the best way for everybody. I'm not gonna say I'm the expert of anything. I'm just a writer also, and this is how I choose to do stuff. Alright, so thank you guys for sharing all that. I think we could probably start a sprint now. If you'd like to join the Discord, feel free to click the link that Handsome Toast has put into the chat. We are currently in the Cinder track, so we're gonna sprint, and when the sprint starts in the server, I will start the clock right there. And we have 15 minutes. Colonel says, wordy expert at being adorable. I don't know about that either. Fanfic says, anyway, enough of my fantasy monologuing. It's fine. It's interesting. When people create things, a lot of times they want to share what they create, so that's totally understandable. Yep, you're really passionate about it. I can tell. Some people just love to talk about their characters, their worlds, and all the things they create, which is understandable. A lot of people who are creative like to share what they create. Some people don't, but some people do. All right, the sprint is about to begin in now. 15 minutes on the clock for all these sprinters out there. I'm going to mute actually while sprinting so I can eat the rest of these. They're almost gone. And then afterwards, we can talk about what we did. So feel free to share in the chat what you will be working on if you are working. If you are not working, feel free to continue to either lurk or chat in the chat or whatever you'd like to do. And I will respond. There are also redeems that can be redeemed, commands that can be activated, so feel free to do so. Thanks so much for the lurk, fanfic. God bless, much success, sending prayers, love, and hugs your way always. I appreciate you stopping by and sharing your work. Alright, I am back from the mute. We have 9 minutes and 52 seconds left on the clock for all these sprinters out there. Okay. Okay. Alright, time's up. Let's see, how many words do I do? Alright, I got some progress done. I think that we should do a... Should we do a break? No, probably not. I need to jump back in. We're gonna do another 15 minutes per hand. No, 15 minutes on the clock for all you sprinters out there. Feel free to let me know what you guys are working on out there. You guys should be in an ad, exclamation point ads to let me know, exclamation point back to let me know you're back. I didn't even realize that it was still a draft. I didn't mean to do that. Oh my goodness. This is hilarious. I wonder if this actually happens in an incognito window, because that's crazy. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Alright, so since you guys don't know what I'm talking about, time's up. How did you guys do that sprint? I did 294 words that time. Alright, so I feel like I did quite well. The funny thing, I'm going to show you guys the funny thing, okay? So sometimes, I've talked about this in streams before. I try to just like search up my own things to see what comes up. Now, when I was coming up with House of Spies, I know that there's already something called House of Spies, but the plot is nothing like my plot of House of Spies. And I figured that it would be okay to do it anyway. Even though when you search House of Spies, it's probably going to make the wrong thing come up. So what I did was I searched House of Spies Will-O-Wisp so it can come up, because I was just trying to use my own article block in WorldEmber to put in another article. So sometimes I'm just like, I could search through my world, but let me just Google it and see if it comes up. And the funny thing is, Daniel Silva is the person who made the book House of Spies. But the AI overview, obviously AI, right? Says Will-O-Wisp is a brand of candies and pretzels that was included in a bonus swag bag gift for the book House of Spies by Daniel Silva. The gift also included a tin of Will-O-Wisp pretzels and a set of Will-O-Wisp House of Spies playing cards. Now pay close attention. They've merged my House of Spies bundle with Daniel Silva's book, House of Spies. Okay? When you scroll down, for one, this, I know who this is, and that's not me. I don't know why that's showing up. When you click my House of Spies, this is me, yes. Now, this is what they're getting the pretzels from. House of Spies bonus swag bag gift, Wordy Girls Coffee Shop. Okay. Now it says bonus swag bag gift, Will-O-Wisp candies in celebration, bottle Will-O-Wisp pretzels, exclusive tin Will-O-Wisp House of Spies playing cards, elegant surprises. Do you understand? So since AI is very not actually intelligent, it is artificially intelligent, it did a collective Google search and found House of Spies, but it found an overlap of Will-O-Wisp in House of Spies and decided to just loop me into this book that I'm not actually related to, which is just hilarious to me. At least I came up, kind of. Alrighty, so thank you guys for joining me. I think that it's about time for me to go. So, I'm probably going to try to stream again tomorrow. No, I can't. I can't stream tomorrow anymore, unfortunately. Something came up, and no. I doubt I'm going to be streaming at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. I apologize. I'm going to see if I can, maybe do a makeup stream on Friday, maybe? I don't know. But we will see. Also, next week, I don't see anything happening to make it where any streams are interrupted, so I'm gonna probably start announcing that everybody can come to my streams and get me to read their World Anvil articles so that I can start putting bomb stickers on everybody's articles, because now that they debut the bomb, I'm just like, that's perfect for someone. They have dynamite and they have the circle bomb, which I'm like, wow, that's so perfect. So let's go. And they are only 100 anvil coins each, which it seems like a lot, but I have over 16,000 anvil coins. So that shows how many bombs I can put on articles. We gave one to Una last night, which was amazing. Colonel, already the bomber of World Anvil. Oh my goodness. No, not like that. But hopefully, Colonel, I might put some bombs on your article. Okay, so Colonel already knows I'm probably not going to make it to the session tomorrow either. I'm so sorry. And I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow either. I apologize. Thank you for your patience with me. Hopefully, next week should be better. So let's see who we're going to raid. And okay, I see some riders. We don't have very many people here. Tiger Rights is up. I don't know. It seems like a lot of lurkers around, so we might as well just, how about we raid Dapper Koi Pond, okay? Dapper Koi Pond is just a chill koi pond, as the name suggests. From Flat Cap Dapper Pastor, he has lots of fun cameras of fish tanks. And you can see fun things happen in the fish tanks. And I don't know if he's playing music right now, but we are just gonna go ahead and raid him, alright? So, since it's very chill here, not many people are here, and, you know, everybody's lurking and stuff, so this should be a chill place to lurk. Thank you guys for joining me today. God bless, much success, sending prayers, love, and hugs your way always. Hopefully I will stream again soon. I will probably make more announcements soon. I really want to be on track for this new year. It is January, but the week is already passing by fast. The month is already passing by fast. And we are trying to get some fun surprises together. And hopefully you will learn more secrets very soon. God bless. Much success, sending prayers, love, and hugs your way always. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going over to Flat Cap Dapper Pastor, everybody. Do copy this raid call to let them know we send love. Alright, love you guys so much. Bye.